Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ice Cold Takes podcast. I'm your host, Joey DeMeglio, and this week I'm joined by Nick, a.k.a. Cjeths, to talk about the Rangers naming Jacob Trouba to be their next captain, as well as the Mets, who are on a roll right now, knock on wood. They just lost to the Phillies in extra innings on Friday
Yeah,
night.
we won't talk about that. It doesn't count.
We won't talk about that. Thanks for joining me, man. How are you?
Dude, I'm great. I'm so happy to be here. I'm hyped for this, man.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here too, man. But let's get right into it. I mean, the other night, Monday night, Kevin Weeks, hashtag asking for Weeks. He reported on Monday night. Yeah, we're still going with that until he comes on the show. It's hashtag asking for Weeks every day until he responds. He reported on Monday night that the Rangers were naming Trouba to be their next captain. It was confirmed by the Rangers on Tuesday. Trouba is the 28th captain in team history. So let's break that down. A lot of people upset, thinking it should be Kreider, it should be Zibanejad. Listen, I think there was a lot of solid choices here. Even though I wanted Kreider to be the captain, I don't think having Trouba wear the C is the end of the world. I think he's a good choice for captain. What do you think?
I'll tell you this much. At first, I was a little dumbfounded by it because I was in the Kreider campaign, and I'm not a cap nerd, right? But I'm huge on cap space and making it optimal so we can keep all the kids, right? So the thing that always went through my mind was as soon as Trouba's no movement club was up, he was the first guy out, which is why I never really considered him to be a captain candidate. However, when they named him captain, we got all the interviews out, like the players were talking about him, the upper management was talking about him. It made so much sense because clearly this guy has some sort of impact in the locker room that where everyone is looking up to him. I mean, even Panarin, he jokes around and says, "Oh, it should have been me." It's funny, but like, you listen to him and all the other guys talk about Trouba, like it seems like the room kind of did gravitate towards him as a leader, whether it's on the ice, off the ice, just that other thing. It seemed like he was the obvious choice, even though it might not have been that way for fans.
Yeah, I mean, the Rangers still, in my opinion, lack that true captain, that Crosby-esque captain. You saw in that Penguins series, as soon as he went out, the entire Penguins team just did a complete 180. Malkin's taking dumbass penalties. The entire team's taking stupid penalties, undisciplined. And, they basically killed themselves. They shot themselves in the foot. They had that series, and then we took them out. Yeah.
Right.
But Crosby made such a huge difference. And it's like his play is the reason that the Penguins have won 3 Stanley Cups with him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? The Rangers don't have that on this roster as of right now. They have a couple good options to be captain, but they still lack that guy that makes an impact on every single shift. In my opinion, people will call me crazy, probably. I think the Rangers should have never traded Matt Zuccarello, and I thought that's who should have been the captain. That's who should be the captain, because that man, every single shift throughout his entire career, he always did something. It was always an impact every single time, and that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Trouba is like, he does that every now and then, but not every shift. He'll make a standout play. He's not the greatest defender in the world, but he makes very noticeable defensive plays. But at times, a lot of times, he's out of positioning, and it leads to a goal. Miller is caught, like keeping up with or picking him up, making a good play here and there. I need Trouba to be more. Right?
I agree. I think Trouba. I think this is more so like it's weird you're saying this about a team captain. This could be like a short-term type thing. Like, what does a team need today versus tomorrow? And to tell you the truth, I think that seat's kind of reserved for Lafreniere. I mean, I could be wrong there. He's been a leader everywhere he's been in his whole career. I think right now this could just potentially be a grooming thing. Like, hey, hold on to the torch for a little bit before we dump you in your salary. Thank you. And then pass the torch on to Lafreniere, who I seriously think is going to be the leader of this team once Trouba's time has come.
Yeah, that was like my next point. I'm thinking maybe this is a short-term move so that maybe Fox or Lafreniere can become, because right now, I mean, those two guys are really young, and I don't want a young captain yet. No. I don't want a young captain with all these experienced guys on there. It kind of seems like a slap in the face, and especially in New York. Yeah, not ready yet. Not ready. Fox would be, in my opinion, I think, based on what I was saying, how his play makes everything around the team better. Like that Crosby S.
Mhm.
Talk about that Crosby S. style of captaincy.
Mhm.
Fox
Homegrown
would
kid.
fit. Yeah, homegrown kid. Fox would fit that narrative, but he's a little young for me, and I don't
Right.
know. I don't know with him yet.
I do. I agree with that 100%. And again, like Trouba's already kind of been the scapegoat since he's been here. So clearly he's been here. What, this is going into his fourth or fifth? It's going into his fourth year now, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been so long, but he's going into his fourth year now. He's kind of been the scapegoat the whole time, and he's dealt with it fine. Like I can't remember a single time Trouba's ever had any backlash with like going at fans or getting pissed off and going crazy in the media. Like he seems like a guy that could kind of take his beatings, and maybe that's another thing too. Keep the attention on Trouba and away from the young guys if they're having a tough go of things.
Yeah, I mean, and then with hockey too, it's not like you're gonna have the Javi Baez and Lindor things, like the thumbs down thing. Baseball, hockey players won't come
Dude,
out and say that stuff.
no,
They're
no.
very nonchalant. They're very to themselves. It's just like, yeah, I
Right,
show up to the rink. I'm lucky to have such great teammates behind
right.
me. Baseball is just like there's so much more drama. I feel like with baseball, like Trouba
So much
hasn't
more
had to
drama.
deal with that, but yeah, I get what
No.
you're saying. I get what you're saying about that, but Trouba, in my opinion, though, what we have right now is he's the one guy on the team where I feel like if he's on. Someone asked this question earlier this year. I thought it was a good question on Twitter. It was a poll. It was
Mm,
like, who on the Rangers when that player is on, the whole team is on, and I feel like Trouba is that guy. I'll give you an example.
that's
So
interesting. Okay, I like
remember
that.
the game? Remember the game against the Coyotes at MSG earlier this year, this season. We went down 2-0 in our own building to like the worst team in the league.
That was a loud night in my household. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Trouba scored the first goal and really set
Yep,
the tone to make us get that comeback and
yep.
win that game. And that was like where I was like, all right, if Trouba could play like this, this is good. This like, you know, he could be a leader. So in summary, Trouba's a great leader and player when he is on his game. And now that he's captain, he needs to always be
Yep,
on top of his game like that. He has to
absolutely,
play like that every
absolutely.
single shift now. If he could
Mhm,
do that, contract is worth it. And
absolutely.
then at that point, what's gonna happen with like Kreider? What are you gonna do? If Trouba, like, that's a good problem, you know what I mean? Like if
Right,
Trouba
right.
shows up to the rink and plays like he's supposed to play like that every single day, then what?
Ugh, well, I think right now with True being captain, I think Kreider, I hate to say it out loud, I think Kreider, if push comes to shove and the Rangers need to make money fast, I think it comes down to, in terms of forwards getting moved potentially. I think Kreider, maybe not today, but maybe next season he becomes potentially a cap casualty. Maybe.
We'll have to see how they play again this year. So like if
Mm,
Kreider is able to, I don't think is going to be able to get 50 goals again this year.
that'd be
That's
crazy,
asking
dude.
for a lot. If he does though, I don't think he's going anywhere. But
If he
even if he
wants to, I
gets,
won't stop.
I won't stop. Yeah, exactly. If I don't think there's anything stopping the Rangers power play from clicking again this year. Like, I mean, the
Hell
only
no.
thing I say is just, are they going to draw as many penalties? We'll see what happens in that department. But I like what you said before. I like what you said before about how this seemed like a tomorrow move. The Rangers needed a
Mhm.
captain. It's been
Yeah.
far too long since they've last had a captain. McDonagh in 2017, 18.
Yep.
Wow, that's such a long time ago without a
Dude,
captain
yeah.
at all. Not one.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I mean, it makes the organization takes it very seriously. So they didn't just
Mhm.
hand out a C. You know what I mean? Like another
Right,
team,
right.
like Ottawa would just they trade their captain and here's the next captain.
Right.
Here, take the letter. The Rangers like, no, man. Like you have to actually be like you have to be qualified enough to get this.
Right,
And
absolutely.
it doesn't matter what position our team is in. Like if our
Mhm.
team sucks, then we won't have a captain. And I kind of
Mhm.
like that.
Dude, it worked last year. Shit, we made it to the conference finals. We lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning, a team that went to the Stanley Cup for their third year in a row. Like, not a bad season considering that people were questioning the Rangers' ability to even make the playoffs at the beginning of this year.
Yeah, now I was holding out hope that, maybe Glant would do a Gordon Bombay and slap, or not a Gordon Bombay, who was the coach in D3 movie, the college movie, and slap the C on Kreider. It was
Oh,
on Charlie Conway. I forget the coach's name. I gotta look. This is bothering me now.
Yeah, because now it's gonna bug me too, dude.
E3, the Mighty Ducks coach, the guy that was all about defense. Oh my gosh.
We were just talking about 2BC. 2BC name drop him
Ted
all the time.
Ted Ted O'Ryan.
Yes.
Ted O'Ryan. Yes, that's the guy. That's the guy.
Yep.
Jeffrey Nordling. That's the actor. Yes, him. Ted O'Ryan. I was hoping Gallant would pull one of those and slap the C on Kreider. Like that would have been epic.
Been
What a
nice.
storyline that would have been. We made it to the conference finals, up 2-0. We go down 3-2, and then like, all right, we need a win. C for Kreider.
Yep.
Come back, win game 6, win game 7. Be like, we could write a movie out of that. That would have been awesome. But you know what? It wasn't meant to be. Wasn't meant to be. I want to talk about the Ranger like fan reactions on Twitter because I don't know if you saw a lot of people were flipping out, going crazy about it. Like, you know, it was happening. How could they do this? This is such a shame. It's so disrespectful to Kreider. And like, all right, I get the disrespect to Kreider because he's been here. He's the last standing guy from 2012 from the Cup run team 13-14. And I once thought of him as a future captain of the team. And you know what? He might still be. Well, we don't know. We don't know. Maybe the Rangers move on from Trouba and they keep Kreider. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't have a crystal ball where we're going to see into the future. Again, like you said, the cap is a big thing that they have to work around in the future, especially with Lafreniere Miller coming up, extensions next off season. So we have to see. We have to see what happens. Like, I think it's too early to say whether or not Kreider or Trouba is gonna get traded, but I think settle down here, Rangers fans. Settle down here. Well, jeez, man, like,
it's mayhem, dude. It's never an easy day on Rangers Twitter, and I'll admit I used to be part of the problem. Like, if you go back and look at some of my old reaction videos, dude, when I was but a high schooler making YouTube videos, dude, I would have some serious reactions like that were completely overblown over small stuff like naming a captain. And the whole Kreider captain thing, I was just thinking about this the other day. I like to go back and listen to old Spit and Chicklets podcast, like when they had Yandel and Hayes on when they were still on the Rangers. And they told the story one time about Chris Kreider when he was like 20 minutes late to getting in the car when they picked him up for a practice. They said Kreider walked out of his house, head down in his phone, headphones on, sat in the car, did not say a word until they got to the rink. So Kreider kind of strikes me as a guy that is more of like a silent leader anyways. He kind of like lets his actions on the ice speak above all, and that's not really Gerard Gallant's style. I think he likes more of an outspoken leader, someone that's going to be a big voice in the locker room. So one thing I loved about Gerard Gallant when he coached Florida, and people will take this, because some people don't like him as a player, but Derek McKenzie, he named Derek McKenzie the captain of the Florida Panthers. This guy was just a fourth line grinder, but every player that's ever played with Derek McKenzie would always say how outspoken he was as a leader and how good he was as a leader. And I think that's a quality that Gallant looks for, and I just don't think Kreider is a very outspoken and loud voice in the locker room, whereas Trouba, at least from what the interviews sound like, is very outspoken in the locker room and likes to communicate with the team.
The best captain, in my opinion, that I've ever seen the Rangers have, albeit I've only seen, Drury, Callahan, McDonagh, and now Trouba. Yeah, the best captain is Callahan for me.
Absolutely.
Like, that guy he definitely said stuff in the locker room. I feel like he did. And his actions spoke much on the ice. People would give him standing ovations at the end of games when he would block shots. Like, the guy was all over the ice. That's what you want. That's what I want my captain to be.
Dude,
and
absolutely.
I think Trouba is kind of close to if he plays the way he needs to play, like we said in the beginning, if he plays that way, he could be a really good captain. I think so.
Absolutely.
So I have hope. I have hope that he'll be able to do that. And speaking of like your old reaction videos, I wanted to bring up one of the old ones. I was laughing my ass off last night. I was like, I had to double check and make sure that this was yours. 2017-18.
Okay.
Rangers play the Penguins. It's at the Garden and it goes to overtime. And this was like before the Rangers gutted their roster. McDonagh coughs the puck up in front of the net, gives it right to Phil Kessel, and literally seconds before, you're like, all right, keep the puck away from Phil Kessel. McDonagh tries to break out the puck. Kessel puts it right into his and feeds it over to Malkin or whatever, and that's it. The game's over.
Just like that, right?
And I don't know who it was in the background. What an idiot! You freaking
That was definitely my freaking dad, dude. Oh my,
yeah. I
oh
was
my
like,
god.
God.
All right. So like the whole premise of my channel, when I first started making YouTube videos, I think I was 14 years old, and I was like in my head, like, I'm gonna be a Minecraft gamer. And then I got bored as hell one day. I'm like, you know what? I want to be like 2BC Productions. I'm gonna make a YouTube shootout commentary. I didn't have a stand. I didn't have any recording software. I took my iPad. I made a makeshift stand out of like Mega Blocks and recorded off my iPad, pointed them on a freaking coffee. Like, this is what I wanted to do. And then I'm like, you know what? Video games aren't enough. I want to talk Rangers. And then, you know what? I'm always looking for people's live reactions to Rangers overtime on YouTube, yet I can never find it. I can never find someone that's posting these videos because people are so afraid they're getting taken down. So I'm like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. And my candid family reactions might be a little bit out there, but I do feel like it embodies a certain like diehard part of the Rangers fan base, and that's why they get as many clicks and views and comments as they do, because it's serious. Like, none of that is exaggerated. Like, the clips you see of me and my family like screaming, yelling, laughing, like making all these jokes, like that's like how we act with a camera on or off. That is genuinely us. And I don't know, it's a little crazy, but dude, I love it, dude. And I know sometimes I struggle with the filter. I do curse a little bit when we're reacting to overtime stuff like that, dude. But I love it. It's so much fun.
I think the part where you said embodies how a diehard Ranger fan feels, I think that's so accurate. Like the tense feeling. And then
Right.
you don't know what some people, when they're really tense, they just keep cursing. They don't say a word. They start biting their nails. Like for me, I'm very stupid. Like, during the playoffs, I had a stupid lollipop. The Rangers were down 3-1 against the Penguins, and the second period, I grabbed the lollipop and I was eating it, and then the Rangers started scoring goals. And from then on, I didn't take the lollipop
Dude,
out of my mouth. Well after the lollipop was gone. So I'm just chewing on the stick.
Dude, I freaking love it though. Dude, it's superstition though. Dude, superstition exists. In game 5 against Pittsburgh this year, my girlfriend Grace had just gotten home from work. And this is like the second she got home, she sat down in the kitchen, the Rangers tied it up. And they go on to win game 5. So what happens game 6? Grace, you're not allowed to leave the kitchen. They win game 6. What happens game 7? Game 7 starts. Grace, do not leave the kitchen. This poor girl was holding in a leak for probably 2.5 hours. She was saying, like, can I leave the kitchen now? I want to go. Dude, finally, then third period, game 7, she's like, I got to piss so bad. I'm like, you can't piss. It's good luck piss. You cannot leave. We go to overtime. Panarin scores. I've never seen a woman run so fast in my life. She went to the bathroom so quick. But, dude, like, she's only been watching hockey since we started dating. So give or take 2 years now, right? And even she's kind of embodying this just absolute fanaticism of just like, if it works, if the superstition works, then that means it's something is out there that's like, I have to do this or the Rangers aren't going to win. And if you don't do that and they lose, it's your fault. And we embody
years
that,
ago,
I swear to God.
when my very first year rooting for the Rangers, I tried to wear jerseys. I would wear jerseys, and the Rangers would always lose. So I would never wear jerseys after that. So like, I don't have a huge collection of jerseys. I have like 1 or 2, maybe 3. I don't wear Rangers jerseys. I don't wear Mets jerseys. Jets jerseys. I don't do it. It's like, for me, it's like bad luck. I'd be lucky to wear my Rangers, my Liberty sweater that I got for Christmas. Like, that thing is nice. I'll wear that. That's comfortable. But like a jersey, I don't want it. I don't want it. You know what I mean?
You don't want to jinx it.
I don't know. I don't want to jinx it. And people get on me. It's like ice cold takes. How do you not have a favorite player right now? I'm like, I just don't. I don't know, man. Like, I don't have.
Oh, never name a favorite player, dude. Never name a favorite player because they always end up getting traded the second you name it. Don't do it.
I knew Zuccarello was going to get traded. It was a formality. It was a foregone conclusion. Everyone and their mother knew that Zuccarello was getting traded at the 2019 deadline, but I still didn't want it to happen.
Dude, that was one of the most heartbreaking things ever when he got traded, dude. Even to this day.
When Callahan got traded, everyone knew he was going to get traded because he was asking for too much money. I still didn't want him to get traded. I cried like a baby on the bus home when I found out he got traded, that it was real, that he was getting traded. I didn't want him to go.
That was a tough. Callahan was actually my first ever Rangers jersey. It was Ryan Callahan, followed by Sean Avery, followed by Brandon Dubinsky.
Those are all really good.
Those
players.
are going way back.
Also, those are all guys that I would love to have on my show. Like Sean Avery would be crazy.
God, dude.
Sean Avery would be nuts.
I love, dude. I got Sean Avery to do a Father's Day cameo for my dad, 2 years ago.
no.
Dude, he is the funniest mother effer. I gave this guy like a litany of stuff to say and do and give my dad crap for. He didn't miss a single thing. This guy nailed so my dad, this is like a real Guinea, New York Italian thing. He doesn't say eggs. He goes eggs. You want some eggs? Ow, my leg. Yeah, egg is always egg if it ends in eg. And he drilled into my dad with this egg thing. That and the cutting off the sleeves on the dude. I should probably publish that video he sent to my dad on Cameo just as a pump Sean Avery's tires, dude. He is so freaking funny.
As a fellow Italian American, I would love to see that. I would probably get
I'll post
a
it
good
tonight.
2 or 3. Yeah, I would get a good 2 or 3 laughs in at that. Like honestly, how much did you spend for that,
dude? Oh frick! I think it was like $40. This was a couple years ago. I did it. He had mentioned it on his podcast when it was No F's Given. I know it's like No Gruff's Given now or something, but he was like, "Hey, listen, I'm doing this for Father's Day. Get your thing in now for Father's Day." And I'm like, you know what? This wouldn't be a bad idea because usually for Father's Day, I get my dad because my dad was a contractor, right? So he was always, I always get him like tools and whatnot. And dude, I got this guy every tool under the freaking sun. The last thing this guy needs is another drill, another tape measure, or something else that he's going to break in a month anyways. Like, you know what? Let me get him something that's going to make him laugh, and then we could always go back and look at him. Like, you know what? He loves Sean Avery. It was the first jersey my dad ever bought me personally because he got it for me at the Garden. Like, you know what? This is it. We're doing it. And I did it, and dude, holy crap, was that hilarious. It was unbelievable, this guy.
I have to listen to his podcast. Like the guy is just so outrageously funny. I listened to.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy the Cjeths podcast, but there's a couple episodes I did like the one episode you mentioned, the Yandel and Hayes one. That was a good one.
Oh, it was the best,
and then
dude. Oh
also
my God.
the first one they did with Avery. Avery was
Yes,
talking
dude,
about
yes.
like his career. And like
Yep.
these were so like these stories were crazy. Like when he was on the Red Wings, and I think it was Yzerman was there, and like how he chirped Yzerman
Sakic.
and someone on the Sakic. It was Sakic.
Yes, and Yzerman pulled him aside.
Yeah, Yzerman pulled him aside and said, "Hey, that's Joe Sakic. He's a Hall of Famer. You can't do that." And Avery was just like, "I don't give a f who I'm doing this to. Like, I'm gonna be me."
Right.
And I'm like,
right.
Whoa.
Dude, I'm telling you, nut job.
That explains a lot then. Like that explains a lot for like the kind of player he was in his career. Like literally
right.
no one got under his skin and under the skin of any opposing players like Sean Avery did.
Dude,
Brad Marchand
did
a pretty good job, but he owned Marty Brodeur for sure.
Dude, these guys got a rule named after him. It's insane.
You have to play some kind of mental games to be able to have a rule named after that. How many players can you say have a rule named after them? Right? Like honestly,
off the top of my head, only Avery. I swear to God, I can't even think of another player that has a rule named after him.
I think Wayne Gretzky probably has a couple of rules named after him, like with the 4-on-4 coincidental minor rule.
Fair.
Yeah, that, and I think the 2-line pass was because of the Devils.
That should have been the Gretzky rule, dude. Because the 2-line pass freaking ruined hockey.
And I think the Gretzky and the Devils because they played the Jacques Lemaire's 1-3-1 neutral zone trap, which to this day I keep talking about. I've mentioned this many times on my show, but the 1-3-1 neutral zone trap the Lightning pulled in 2015 in Game 7, I to this day have nightmares of that. I have nightmares of that.
PTSD,
it was just,
dude.
Rangers played so many damn games that year, and then they didn't have enough energy left in them to beat the trap, to skate around it. So it was just same thing every time. Thing every time.
That game against the Lightning, that Game 7 in 2015 was, in my opinion, of every single game I've ever watched in my life as a Rangers fan, that was the most disheartening and frustrating Rangers game I have ever watched in my life, and nothing even comes close. I watched the game where Marty Baron gave up 9 goals and the between the legs goal to Tomas Hertl in 2014.
Yes,
and that was not even as disappointing as that. Watching that entire Game 7 against Tampa Bay, not even close. Like I remember my first year
watching hockey. The last game of the season, the Rangers and the Flyers went to a shootout, and now whoever won that game was going to the playoffs, and the Rangers lost
Oh,
in a shootout.
I believe that was
Olli
2010.
Jokinen,
Olli
yeah,
Jokinen.
Olli Jokinen missed
Mhm.
the shot, and I was so pissed off that year. I was so pissed off. That was a bad one from my early childhood. Like that was a bad one. The following year, Game 4 in the first round against the Capitals, we were up 3-0 when we lost in overtime. That was a
Yes.
bad one.
Mhm.
The year after that, Eastern Conference Finals, Game 6 against the Devils in overtime. That
Mhm.
was a horrible one. 2013
Mm.
was all right.
Lots
That
of
was fine
tragedies.
because I mean the Bruins really
Well,
took
they
it to
murdered
us.
us. They
2000,
murdered us in game 5.
2014, the rough games really were games 1 and 2
And we
against
were in those
against the
games
Kings.
too, dude. We were in those freaking games when when the Rangers lost Game 5 at the Stanley Cup Finals was it's actually a funny story. So that the day they lost that game, the next day I had an interview for what was going to be my first job ever, and the person who was interviewing me, the owner of the little mom and pop shop, it was actually a Hershey's ice cream shop in Wantagh. They were at my house. Talk about bad timing. They got to the house as overtime was starting. This poor woman who I was going to interview with tomorrow watched a 14-year-old me scream, curse, and then punch a hole in my backyard fence all
Oh
within
my
15
god.
minutes, and I got the job.
Wow.
Dude, that was one of the most awkward, bizarre. Not only that, I ended up going on to coach her son in flag football that same year. I could only
Wow.
imagine what's going through this woman's head while she's like, I got to interview this freaking kid tomorrow. He just punched a hole in his backyard fence over a hockey game. Because they were not like an athlete type family. They didn't know much about sports. So they just like figured, let's just, it's New York. It's how people are back then. You just pop in, say hello. Oh, coffee and cake. Simple as that. And they just picked a really bad time to come because our house was in disarray.
Did they reinforce the Hershey business with concrete instead of with brick and yeah?
Dude, they
So that
freaking should have. Oh my God. After that night, dude, I swear to God, I never thought I'd ever see that woman again. And she had the
did
guts
they
to see me the next day.
take all the TVs down in the shop so that you didn't have so you couldn't watch the games?
Dude, you know what's actually really funny? So they had a speaker system in there, and in the wintertime, it would be so dead in that building that I would hook my phone up to the speakers, and I would have the Rangers radio broadcast play over the speakers when I work night shift, so I could listen to Ranger games while I was at work.
Damn. Yeah. So okay. So who do you prefer on Rangers radio? Do you prefer Don
Maloney.
LaGreca or Kenny Albert? Oh, Dave
Oh,
Maloney. Oh, of course, Dave Maloney. Yeah, of course.
right. But if you're talking about between Albert and LaGreca, okay,
They're both great.
I'll break it down into two categories because I don't want to pick a favorite. I like Kenny Albert's voice more. I like listening to him talk more, but I feel like I learn more and can get a better understanding of what's actually happening, like paint a better mental image from LaGreca, if that makes any sense.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, like
Mm,
he's a bit more descriptive, and
yes.
Kenny Albert's got more of that TV announcer kind of.
Yes.
He's good
He's
for
got that
TV.
vibe to him, dude.
When you're a radio announcer, you have to be a lot more descriptive. I think Howie
Yes.
Rose is very, very good at it. Gary Cohen, when
Legend.
he was on the radio, was very,
Hmm.
very good at describing.
Hmm.
You could almost paint the pic, like the Andy Chavez catch for the Mets. Like
Yep.
everything. The call from the radio was like literally perfect. You could tell exactly
Yeah.
what happened just
Oh, right.
from Gary Cohen's description of it. Right.
Mm,
So that's what you need to be on the radio. Gary Cohen, to me, he's the best announcer in all of
he's the
sports.
man. I love listening to Gary Cohen, dude.
And all right, you know what? That brings us to the next section of the podcast, the change up. It's time to
Let's
talk
do it.
about baseball. The Mets have been rolling. What was it? It was like 13 of 14, something like that. They took 4 or 5 from the Braves. 4
Yep.
or 5 from the Braves. I was
Mhm.
asking for 3
Yep.
wins, and they got 4.
They gave you one
And
extra.
yeah, like that was just, oh my gosh. They've been great all season. I'm so happy with that. And you know what's even better is that, you know, a lot of fans were not satisfied, myself included, with
Mhm.
they're 8-2 in their last 10.
Yeah.
8-2 in their last 10. That's great.
Dude, they're killing it. This post-trade. Yep. Good.
The Braves are going back down to earth. And like I was saying, a lot of people, myself included, the fans were upset that they didn't make as many moves as they probably should have at the deadline. They didn't make many acquisitions, but now they're firing on all cylinders. The acquisitions they did make, Vogelbach, Naquin, Ruff,
huge,
all producing. Vogelbach's a damn fan favorite, man.
Dude, I love that freaking guy, dude. Oh my god. Well, I'll give you a little tidbit here. So I'll give you 2 tidbits, actually. Sorry. So when I was talking to my buddy, who's like a diehard Mets fan, like this, when I tell you this guy lives and breathes, like he just embodies the New York Mets. This is my buddy John Stack back in Wantagh. He made a point to me about this trade deadline that actually totally changed my mind and made me happy about the deadline, literally the day of. He said what the Mets did is they did exactly what the Braves did last year. They didn't get the best players available. They got the right players that were available to them. They didn't need to go out and make necessarily a big splash because they have the stars, right? What they needed was a little bit of depth. They needed to fill out some holes in some corners so when they go into the playoffs, they got a deep bench. And, dude, I think that's exactly what they did. And I think their deadline was kind of similar to what the Rangers did. I know we did the changeover, but, like, the Rangers did not go out there and get, like, a superstar at the deadline. They did. They got Andrew Kopp, a role player, Frank Vetrano, a role player, Tyler Mott, a role player, and Justin Braun, another role player. They got guys that were going to fit into their lineup and make the team more well-rounded and just better overall. The Mets didn't necessarily need to do anything. They're at the top of the division. Why go out there and I say why? I mean, it's always fun too, but like you didn't need to go out there and get a superstar. You just needed to fill holes and make the team better as a whole. And I think that's exactly what they did. And I think that puts them in a really good spot to compete. Like, dude, this Darren Ruff guy, people are sleeping on him, dude. Like, he's like, seriously, he's like the Mets version of Tyler Mott. This is like the jack of all trades. You put him in a scenario, like for Mott, it would be the penalty kill. For Ruff, it would be against lefties. They're going to excel as good as anyone else on the team. And you're going to love the guy. And I think that's exactly what a guy like Darren Ruff is for the Mets right now.
I really like that comparison of the Rangers getting role players to the Mets getting valuable depth pieces / players that could fill in the later spots in your lineup. Naquin is doing a very good job. Like dude, I don't know if this is who he is as a player or if he's just on a hot streak. Because I know at one point with the Indians, I believe he was like a pretty good player.
Yeah,
Reds. At some points he was pretty good, but like he's firing on all cylinders right now. And pretty
his
good.
bat caught up. He's always a good fielder and a good base runner. It's just now his bat caught up to him. And dude, sometimes people like Naquin, like you put him on bright lights. Like we've seen it before, where like players do not do good, in small cities, and you put guys in big market cities, and for some reason they shine in the lights. Like there are plenty of guys in any sport, baseball, hockey, football, basketball, you name it, that stunk until they played New York. And then that made them who they were and got them paid at the end of the day. Like Brandon Prost for the Rangers. I know I keep going back and forth, but Prost was a nobody until he came to the Rangers and he made $10 million.
Same with Benoit Pouliot. Like a year after that, he goes to the Oilers and gets like, what was it, a 4-year deal? Like, you know what I mean?
4 years, 4.5 a year, something like that. He got paid.
I think the Mets with tonight's loss to the Phillies, it's 17 of 20. I think I counted that right. That's crazy.
We could drop one. It's all right. We'll live without that one. They can have it.
Yeah. And I thought it was my friend who I had on a couple weeks ago to talk like some baseball with Noah. He's a big Phillies fan, and he was so triggered by Keith Hernandez's comments the other night that he doesn't like to call the games against the Phillies. He said, "Dude, what the hell? It's such a bad reason. It's just a dumb reason to call out." I was laughing so hard at him. I was like, "You're so rattled right now." Like, man, it's just like, oh my gosh, it was so fun. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe it's a stupid reason, but like,
that's so Keith Hernandez. The guy's old school. Like Keith Hernandez and those old school guys, they live off fundamentals. And dude, I mean, it might have been a bit exaggeratory, but for all we know, like maybe watching the Phillies defense is enough to give Keith Hernandez a reason to not want to call games. But big fundamentals guy. Maybe that's what I don't know.
And of course, they make a big play. I didn't see the play, but I heard what happened. Veerling threw out Marte at home in the bottom of the ninth. Man,
heard that one on the radio.
Yeah, I tuned in a little too late for that one. I tuned in the top of the 10th. Yeah. Damn. So I mean, you win some, you lose some. the Rangers, the Rangers. Yeah, here we go again, going back and forth.
There is a
the
Rangers
Mets,
team in the MLB, but
yeah, in Texas.
right.
The Mets did a whole lot of winning just now, 17-20. That's a lot.
Dude,
That's
it's
crazy.
nice. It's in a 162 game season, dude. 17 wins is pretty dang valuable, dude. Especially out of 20 games. I mean, you're talking like, oh god, I'm not gonna do math on the spot, but you're talking a lot. Like that's winning over 80% of your games. That's ridiculous. As borderline, that's like 120 win season or something like that. If I'm doing the math right.
Yeah, if you stay on that pace, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
And at this point in the season too, with the division lead narrowing, literally it went down from 10 games, 10 and a half. What was it? 10 games, 10 and a half to down to a half game.
Yeah,
that was scary. That was scary. Like,
dude, those teams got hot at the right time, dude. Because the Mets weren't necessarily cold at any point, but they weren't as hot as the other teams that were beneath them, and they just caught up. Yeah, now the Braves kind of like fizzled out a bit.
Yeah, I think the Braves played real team. They're playing a real teams, and that we showed them up. I don't like Spencer Strider. That was very interesting. I can't believe he said that. Like, oh, the Mets had a bunch of lucky hits,
dude.
Like,
Jesus Christ.
He had some nerve saying the Mets made you work for like not even 3 innings, and you're out here complaining that they got some lucky calls. Your guys, your batters. If you're such a good team, you're the champions. You guys should be 100%. Able to beat anybody. You should be able to beat Darvish or Scherzer or
dude,
not Darvish,
100%.
DeGrom.
Yeah, right. Dude, but dude,
they couldn't even touch DeGrom.
No, this is what kills me the most too, right? The pitcher wants to talk about getting lucky, right? So you could argue immediately that if you're a pitcher in the MLB, you have the advantage. If you look at batting averages around the league, I'm not, and I might be making up a number here, but I'm sure the average batting average of the entire MLB is hovering somewhere between 230 and 260. So statistically speaking, you should be getting out of those innings just problem like 75% of the time, because if you're doing the math, you're supposed to be winning 75% of the battles according to batting average or on-base percentage, which are probably a little bit closer to 3. But either way, pitcher has the advantage. The players aren't getting lucky, buddy. You just got thrashed. Deal with it. Don't go crying to the media that you lost. And someone made a point on Twitter the other day, too. Like, when the Mets lost, you didn't see, like, Buck Showalter or any of the Mets players go, they got lucky, this, that, the other thing. No. They take it like, hey, I could have been better. I could have done this better, this, that, the other thing. They always say I when it comes to doing stuff wrong. They don't blame anybody but themselves. And I think that's like important for a winning team. It's not point fingers. It's accept what you did, move on to the next game. And like, I don't know. Clearly, I don't know. Maybe a lack of leadership in the Braves locker room. I don't know.
It's about, well, I mean, they're missing Freddie Freeman.
Ooh, I forgot about that one. Yes, Freddie Freeman is their biggest piece.
Matt Olson's a damn good first baseman. Replaceable, a valid replacement, I'd say, for Freeman. Maybe good production, but we don't know about his leadership in the locker room, man. Like Freeman Freeman, if he just stays healthy for the rest of his career, I think Freddie Freeman's going in the Hall of Fame.
Dude, he's batting like 323 or 324 this year. The guy's 32 or 33 years old, and he's getting better somehow. He's putting up better numbers.
The amount of respect I have for that man, despite him playing for a rival team, is is unbelievable. Like,
he's the man.
I never respected Tom Brady until I saw him like take the Buccaneers championship or whatever. You know what I mean? It's still hard to root. It's still hard to respect Tom Brady just because he's the Jets' nemesis for so many years.
Right.
But the guy is literally Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. You can't argue with that.
Not even close.
And now with Freeman, I think like you can't compare that. Losing him is such a huge loss. Like, the Patriots lost Brady and they immediately fell into normalcy.
Right. Exactly.
Like I always thought Bill Belichick was the reason they were good. No, it really is Tom Brady. Freeman was like one of the reasons, is like the main reason, the key contributor, the cornerstone to that Braves franchise. I mean, Acuna is great and all. Yeah, you could build your dynasty around him for sure. But Freeman was like, what he says goes. Like
It's a
I
totally different thing. Yeah,
love
I
that.
agree 100%. Freeman's just I think him leaving was like a culture shock, dude. It shook the fans, the team. I think it shook everything.
Yeah, and but they still did a good job winning. I like Brian
Mhm.
Snicker is a pretty damn good manager. He's done a great
Oh
job.
yeah.
But
Mm,
and then to what you're saying about the Mets with Buck Showalter and who was it, Taiwan Walker, I think was
mm,
saying, yeah, I didn't locate my pitches well. I need to be better. I
mhm.
didn't show up today. The guys in the pen had to bail me out and then
Right.
keep that a close game. The Mets got it back into that game. The 8-5 game.
Mhm.
What was it? It was 9-6. 9-6.
Yes.
Um McNeil homered in the ninth. I think Contreras, somebody homered in the top of the ninth. But anyways,
Mhm.
it's all about accountability. It's about damn
Yes.
time that we've seen that. Like it was so annoying to see Mickey Callaway say, "Oh, we battled. Oh, we did some
Yeah.
good. We did some good." Like no. Say we weren't good enough. Just
Right,
say
right,
we didn't do this. Tell me
right.
that it was
Mhm.
that.
The old Elaine
Don't
Vigneault,
be
"Oh, we could have done, oh, well, we tried," this and the other thing. Like, yeah, we don't freaking need that, dude. Not in
the
professional
coaches.
sports. You don't try.
our our old coaches like John Tortorella, Terry
Mhm.
Collins,
TC.
Rex Ryan. Rex
Oh my
Ryan
god.
would
Yep.
like unhinged, would just
Mhm.
go right at it. That's what I like. That's what I love about Buck Showalter. The guy's like he's very I don't know. He doesn't say. I feel like he doesn't say much, but he says the
Mm.
right words and he pushes all the
Right.
right buttons.
Dude, absolutely. I
Whatever
mean,
he
yeah.
whatever
Sorry, I kinda
he's
interrupted
done,
you.
the no, don't worry about it. Whatever he's done to this point, it's worked. The guys that he has are working for him.
Dude, absolutely. I think too, like Buck Showalter's like so well respected around the league. Like, so what was crazy to me is when they were leading up to the Mets, new manager, a lot of people were like, no, I don't want Buck Showalter. He's this old dinosaur. He doesn't believe in analytics or this side of the other thing. And yet, despite all that, it was the players that were heavily advocating, like Max Scherzer, were heavily advocating, like, we want Buck Showalter. Buck Showalter's our guy. And it was to the point where I don't know enough about the managers in the MLB. I don't pay close enough attention to that to know like who's the best manager and why. I just saw the fans were like, we don't want this guy, so I hopped on that boat until I was reading how badly the players wanted this guy. Clearly, there's some respect about this man who, I mean, for lack of a better pun, he goes to bat for his players, right? He just commands respect around the league. He's a great leader. He, like you said, a man of a few words, but he says the right things. Like I never like listened to a Buck Showalter press conference. I was like, huh, you kind of use a lot of words to say nothing when he just uses a few words to say a lot. I don't know. I actually like the guy a lot. I would put him on, maybe a little bit lacking intensity, but in terms of how serious he's taken, possibly on the realm of someone like John Tortorella, taken very seriously, maybe not feared like Tortorella, but is respected and listened to like Tortorella.
Tortorella was just like
Maniac.
yeah, he was a maniac. Oh my! I still to this day I go and look at the compilations of like his best thing. My favorite one, besides the Larry Brooks ones, Edmonton Oilers. It's like he walks in. Listen, I'm gonna keep this very short. We sucked from head to toe, and we need to move by. I know you guys got to do your jobs, but I'm not answering any questions. Okay, so that should do it. And he walks out. That's it. That's it.
Yep.
And that's all I need. That's all I need.
Mhm.
Like as a fan,
Absolutely.
that's all I need. Like if you
Mhm.
are recognizing that your team sucked,
Yep.
just say that. That's what I think
You gotta
Glenn
sugarcoat
did.
it.
Yeah, you don't sugarcoat it. Don't do what Mickey Callaway did. I hated that so much.
That guy's such a piece of work.
Yeah, like I thought he was gonna be good too. And like from day one, he's like, yeah, we're screaming accountability. And it
Mhm.
looked like that was happening with the first couple weeks in the season. Like the Mets were winning
Mhm.
games in 2018,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden it just flipped around. It was just it
It
was
fell
so
apart,
bad.
dude. It just fell apart. Also, I don't think the Mets culture back then was healthy, dude. Like, nothing against Yoenis Cespedes or anything like that, but that guy to me just screams someone that really did not give a crap until he got paid, and then only cared until he got paid. And then after he got paid, I really don't think he cared after that, dude. The guy literally abandoned the team. Like, remember when that story came out? Like the Mets lost
Yeah.
Yoenis Cespedes. How do you lose a 230-pound man? Like, this is not something easy. Like, he just up and left, dude, was gone. Like, in an instant. Like, and it's not like he was even playing well to that point. He might have been batting sub 200. Like, he was having a brutal year. And we're paying the guy like 30-something million dollars. And the second he got paid, he just, I don't know. If that's like I'll ask you this much. Would you rather Yoenis Cespedes running your locker room or Francisco Lindor? They're being paid the same amount. Who are you taking? As a leader.
Lindor. I have to take Lindor. I have to take Lindor because as a leader, yeah, for sure, Lindor. But
yeah,
like I mean, Cespedes, if he stayed healthy for 2017 and 2018, I mean the Mets, the Rangers again. Here we go again. The Mets would have been in a different spot, like because he was very productive those 2 years. Like I remember in 2018, he came back for one game against the Yankees. Like up until that point, he was having a pretty good year. Then he got hurt.
Yep.
And he came back and literally destroyed the Yankees for one game. And then, oh yeah, I have heel calcified something. My heels are calcified.
Yeah, there you go.
And then it's gone. He's gone for the season. And then it's just like the second coming of Jesus Christ, literally. He comes there, and that's it. He plays one game, destroys the ever-loving crap out of the baseball, and then leaves.
Gone again.
Ever since that point, he was not the same. Like, yeah, he had that home run in his first game back, and then after that was just not the same.
He was just invisible, dude.
It was sad to see because I watched those at bats when he first came over from the Mets to the Mets in 2015. Like he killed it. It was so sad for me to see that,
dude.
Calcification, heel calcification, and bone spurs in his heels. That's what it was.
That's kind of gross.
Yeah.
I mean, I do feel bad for the guy. I mean, that's not really much of a joke in terms of an injury, but it's like it derailed him, I think, a lot more than maybe other people. Like, listen, after Cespedes' first season with the Mets, we went all the way to the World Series. I was the biggest advocate of, if I had to pick one, give me Cespedes over Murphy. Obviously, hindsight is 20/20, and maybe these days we pick Murphy over Cespedes. But like, I don't know. I feel like after not in 2016, but in 2017, after he opted out of the extension we gave him in 2015, after that 2016 season, because remember, he opted out and almost went to the Nationals, and then we re-signed him, and then it was after the second re-signing after he had opted out where he just didn't really seem like he cared, and that was kind of what I was more referring to, because I did forget his 2016 season was really damn good despite him getting hurt during it, because he was on a tear.
Yeah, I think he had 30 homers.
Yeah, dude,
he might have had 30 homers, 100 RBIs. Yeah,
dude.
Murphy,
and then God, sorry.
Yeah, Murphy that year was just was an animal. He ran for MVP. That was the year we got Walker, who was solid for us. He had 20 homers. But Murphy was just, oh my gosh, just so goddamn unbelievable that year.
Dude, he batted like 347. It was absolutely bizarre, dude. Like it was freaking crazy. Daniel Murphy was like, obviously David Wright, my favorite Met of all time, but Daniel Murphy was like one of my, I would say behind David Wright, my favorite Met of all time, right behind David Wright. I don't know why. I had this infatuation with Daniel Murphy when I was in elementary school, when he first started playing with the Mets, where I'm like, this is just the guy. I saw him hit a grand slam or something, and I'm like, this is just my guy now. This is my favorite player. And I was just a Daniel Murphy stan from there on out. I don't know why, but that was just it for me. I love
David Wright. David Wright for me. And it was very sad to see Matt Harvey fall from grace, because I really enjoyed his intensity, the way he pitched in 2013. Oh, it was so cool seeing him pitch. Like they hyped it up so much.
Yep.
It was great.
Dude, there was never a bigger day than Harvey Day.
Harvey Day, yeah. Oh my gosh. Like I used to go crazy for that. Oh, it was so awesome. And then when he came back in 2015, that was so cool. But then after that, he got hurt, and oh my gosh, he fell off the cliff. He fell off the face of the planet. That was so sad for me.
Dude, it was all. You know what's actually crazy? I was thinking about this the other day. If you'd go back not 10 years, but like if you go back to like 2013 or 2014, if you were to pick from these 5 pitchers, Matt Harvey, Zach Wheeler, Jacob DeGrom, Noah Syndergaard, and who is the other one? There's one more I'm missing.
Matz.
Steven Matz, right. If you would have picked from any 5 of those pitchers, like who would be the top 3, a lot of people probably would not have had Jacob DeGrom in there, and yet he completely blew by all of them. Like there was a time where Jacob DeGrom was like our 3rd or 4th guy in the rotation when like it was like Harvey, Wheeler, DeGrom. And now it's like DeGrom all the way up here, like on a totally different stratosphere in terms of pitching eliteness. Like it was just crazy how spoiled we were. I don't think we realized how good we had it. We had these like pitchers between the ages of 22 and 26 that were just absolutely, completely and utterly elite. And it's a shame that some of them didn't pan out, but you still leave there with Jacob DeGrom. But like you said, dude, that Matt Harvey stuff, so sad.
Yeah, again, like the injuries killed us there. Like, and then Matt's never lived up to the hype. Syndergaard kept getting hurt. Wheeler kept getting hurt.
The wheel
Harvey
deal
kept getting hurt. Yeah, DeGrom was the only one who really kind of stayed healthy, and now he's getting injured. But now, okay, so like with DeGrom, he's my favorite player, honestly. The guy is just damn near perfect, and he's a perfectionist. The guy is right. Did you watch the start that he had against the Braves? It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Dude, it was just what he was doing was borderline abuse. Like honestly, if a Braves fan would have called the cops and said that there was some fishy stuff going on at the stadium and it was Jacob DeGrom literally molesting the Braves, he would have had a case. It was ridiculous. He hadn't pitched in almost a calendar year before that, and he picked them apart. It was ridiculous. The guy's just on another level.
It was so weird to see him go perfectly through the lineup for 5 2/3 innings, walk a guy, and then give up a home run. Just like that. Just instantly. And I was so pissed off that it started like that perfect. I didn't want him to. I knew he wasn't going to last the entire game. I just wanted him to at least get, after he walked Adrianza, I just wanted him to get out of the inning. I just wanted him to get that last out so he could get the nice standing ovation. He ended up getting it anyways, but you want to get that with the out, with the last out of the inning.
Right.
Dude, I was so upset.
But he's back now, dude. Like he's good now. Like, dude, how crazy is it that we on it every other night when they're together? Freaking DeGrom, then Max Scherzer.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Holy crap, dude. I remember let's go back to 2015 for a second. I remember watching Max Scherzer in my kitchen while my dad, it was after a Ranger game. My dad and his friend up the block, Chris, NYPD, had just gotten off work. He shot right by the house. We watched the Ranger game and let's tune into the Mets game. Let's see what's going on. And we watched Max Scherzer no-hit the Mets. And that was the no-hitter where Max Scherzer, I think he struck out, God, who was it? It was either Lucas Duda or Yoenis Cespedes, but he struck them out and then yelled, "You motherfucker!" Like the screen also with spit flying out of his mouth like the madman that he is. And my dad, one of the biggest diehard sports fans and Mets fans I've ever known in my life, was like, "I'm rooting for this guy to pitch a no-hitter. This is the coolest thing ever." And even my dad was rooting for Scherzer to get that no-hitter because he just loved his intensity. And it's funny, all these years later, we get to root for him.
There's Max Scherzer just there really isn't quite anyone like him in any sport.
No, dude, there's not. Could you imagine that guy taking a psychological exam? Dude, he would be put away forever.
So it's all mental games, like too, with him, And I think he believes in superstitions too, like because what is it? He doesn't like to be talked to when he's pitching. He doesn't like to be touched. We saw that last year, I think, with the Dodgers.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Can't tell him good job. Can't tell him anything. Yeah.
I know he didn't want to go to the Mets, like when the trade deadline last year. So I was very surprised to see him actually come to the Mets. Steve Cohen overpaid for him.
I was going to say money talks, dude. For $43 million, I'd go somewhere I didn't want to go.
He overshot by about like $3, $4, maybe $5 million.
You could argue probably close to 10, dude. To tell you the truth, I bet you right now if the Dodgers, hold on, maybe not the Dodgers because they might have been close in bidding. I bet you if another team where he wanted to go, which seemed like it was SoCal, he wanted to be in Southern California. I bet you if a team would offer him like 33 or 35, he would have gone there. But I don't know, dude. It's $43 million. it's kind of hard to say no to that. And it seems like Cohen kind of wined and dined him too. Like Cohen and Cohen's wife, from what Scherzer was saying when he first signed with the Mets, literally had like a sit down dinner with Scherzer and his wife and like hung out with them, dude. Like that's commitment from an owner, if I've ever seen it. If he's not going to give you the financial commitment, which he very well has the money to do so, he's going to give you like the physical, intimate, like human to human interaction that'll make you believe in something. And I think that definitely played a part in it too.
Yeah, and I think maybe there was a conversation about Buck Showalter in there. Maybe
Probably.
he was talking like if
Mhm.
Scherzer sees that DeGrom's on this team and he's going to come back
Yep.
and pitch this year, and
Mhm.
everything they had already. I don't know if Scherzer came first or if like Canna, Marte, and those guys also. I think Canna and Marte, those guys all came first within the
Yeah,
signings,
because
but
it was because Canna, Marte, and Escobar all happened within like 10 minutes of each other.
yeah, which was great. And
Mhm.
I think if with Scherzer seeing that, he
Mhm.
might have laid out, okay, you guys have a good roster here, but I want
Mhm.
Showalter. I wouldn't be surprised if he did say that to
Absolutely.
Cohen, like, get Showalter. If you tell me right now that you get Showalter, I will take this money that you have
Mhm.
laid out here for me, whatever amount it is, and I will
Absolutely.
go into your team. Yeah. So
Dude, he has that effect on people, dude. And what are you gonna do? You can tell Max Scherzer, no, I'm not gonna do what you want, Mister One of the best pitchers in MLB history. No, you're gonna cave into his demands. If he wants a manager, you give him the damn manager.
yeah, and the Mets are firing on all cylinders right now. Big series, still these are still big series. Don't take anything for granted. 6 games up on
Mm-mm.
the Braves. We're Mets fans. Anything could happen in an instant. We were up 10 games on
Mm-hmm.
the Braves, and then it instantly went to a half game. So we
Shriveled
got the
right down,
win.
dude. Mm-hmm.
Just take these series. Just take
Yep.
2 or 3 from the Phillies. Come back tomorrow with the big win, and then finish it out on Sunday with the win. One
Dude,
game at a
absolutely.
time. Just do that.
Mm-hmm. I'll be in Atlanta watching the Mets Atlanta series. I think in a month and a half's time. I think it's September 30th into October 3rd. I could be wrong, but my brother and my buddy and I, because we're all we're living in Charlotte, and we're making the 6-hour drive, however long it is, to actually stay there and watch the whole series. I'm so hyped for that, dude.
Big series against the Braves also coming up starting on
Mm-hmm.
Monday. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
big 4-game set. You got to
Mm-hmm.
take if you really want to hamper their chances, you want to take 3 or 4, but
I agree.
if you come away with 2 or 4 with the way the Mets have been playing, I wouldn't mind it. It depends on how the rest of this Phillies series go. If we take 2 or 3, if
Yeah.
we take the next 2, I'll be fine with 2 against the Braves.
Well,
Fine.
absolutely. And I think right now I could be wrong. I actually think the Phillies are closer to catching the Braves than the Braves are to catching us. So there's a lot of jockeying going on right now in the Mets division, the NL East. There's the Nationals and the Marlins, they're afterthoughts, right? They're completely gone. But I could be wrong. You might be able to see it on your end on MLB.com, but I'm almost positive the Phillies are closer to the Braves than the Braves are to us. Could be wrong.
We're gonna check the standings right about now. Hang on one second. I'm just gonna find the. Why doesn't it have standings on here?
No, that would make too much
Okay.
sense.
Yeah. The Phillies are 9.5 back of first place. The Braves are 6 back. Yeah, so the
That's
Phillies are closer
crazy,
to the
dude.
Braves, and the Braves are closer to the Mets.
That's
Yeah.
freaking crazy. Dude, did you see Tatis Jr. got that 80-game suspension today?
Oh my God.
How insane
Wow.
is that, dude?
Just as
Dude.
he's about to come back, and it's just like, nope.
Well, dude, like they're talking about the 3-headed monster in San Diego with freaking Juan Soto, Machado, and Tatis, and now it's like the I don't know, the dynamic duo of Soto and
No,
Machado.
now it's the 3-headed dragon, but the dopey looking dragon is Tatis Jr.
Dude, I love it. But dude, you see what it was? Like he was saying apparently like there was like some medicine he was taking for ringworm, and it had like
Oh my
some
God.
cord or something in it. Dude, listen, I did MMA for a while. I've been in and around ringworm. I don't know what the hell he was taking that would have a steroid like that in there, dude. Like whenever we would get ringworm in wrestling or MMA, like it was a cream. Like it wasn't like we were taking like over the counter pills to treat ringworm. So I don't know. I might look a little bit more into it, dude. But I don't know. He might have been doing some fishy stuff maybe to get healthy a little bit.
It's
faster.
always something like that with where an athlete is like sick or something. Like remember Nicholas Backstrom in the Olympics in 2014? He took like
Sudafed.
What was it? Did he take Sudafed? He took something. It was something for illness, and it was a performance enhancing drug.
Yes, it was all to get better faster.
Yep, and he got suspended for it.
Yep,
they called him out on it. Yeah, that was nuts. Like me seeing a hockey player get suspended for PEDs was like, what?
Dude, it never happens.
This is impossible. This is impossible. And you know what I mean? Like, it was like that's what happened. I don't know. It's just. No.
It's just weird. You don't expect. I actually, to tell you the truth, I couldn't think of, aside from, actually, I wouldn't even have thought of Backstrom if you asked me. I can't even think of the last time an NHL player got busted for PEDs. I seriously cannot remember one, except for that Backstrom story. I do like off top. I could probably tell you 100 baseball players, not a single NHL player. And I'm not comparing sports. I'm just like genuinely, I can't think of one.
I think they've happened in the past, like within the past 10 years, but I just don't remember the players that it happened to. Like, I remember seeing stories pop up. I just don't remember the players' names.
Right. And I mean, they test so often. It's actually, it amazes me, like, because some of these players, dude, like, they get tested, like, probably once a week, I want to say. Maybe even more often than that, dude.
Yeah, definitely in the other sports, but I'm not sure about the NHL.
Yeah, it could be a little bit different. I mean, they don't play as many games, but still, they're all freak athletes, no matter what sport it is, dude.
Yeah. All right, well, Nick, thanks so much for joining me. Really appreciated it.
Of course, absolutely.
Bailed me out big time this week. Let me tell you, I wasn't planning on talking Rangers hockey this week, and then the Rangers, of course, up and named the captain on Monday and threw all my plans out the water.
Kept you on your toes.
To the water. Yeah, kept me on my toes like they always do. You know, I didn't think they were going to name a captain this year. Honestly, I thought they were just going to be stubborn and be like, "Yep, 6 days. Here we go."
Yeah.
Trocheck, you get Strome's A.
Could you imagine, dude? Oh my god, I love it.
And then Rangers Twitter would have been mad, anyways.
Right.
It's like you can't have it. You can't have it. You can't make anybody happy. It's like you name Kreider happy. All the people that wanted Trouba to be captain, they're mad. All the people that wanted Zibanejad to be captain, they're mad.
Yep.
If you make Zibanejad captain, the Kreider people and the Trouba people are going to be mad. And now, what do you think happens? Trouba's named captain. Oh, it should have been Kreider. It should have been Zibanejad. He's not a real leader. Oh, my gosh. He sits on his ass. He doesn't play defense.
All this.
Just like, stop, man. Calm down. Listen, it's not going to have that much of an effect. Like, I think that the players saying that he made a difference, especially being down 3-1 in that series.
Yep.
It's a huge deal. So if the players think it, like we said with the Mets, like if the players are all calling, screaming for Buck Showalter, then that's probably who you should get. The Rangers players are all calling and screaming for Trouba, basically, without actually saying it to be their captain. Then that's probably who should be the captain.
100%.
We're only the fans. We're the peanut gallery.
Right.
So no matter how you feel about the team, it really doesn't make a difference. I'm sorry to say it, but it really doesn't. Like, Drury's going to make the moves that he wants to make. Freaking Gallant is going to make the lineup decisions that he wants to make. I don't want to see Dryden Hunt out there on the second line.
No.
But you know what? Gallant, for some odd reason, awful reason, does want to see Dryden Hunt run out there with Panarin and have him struggle to score like 10 points in 2 months.
Right. So playing with one of the best players in the league.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't, I understand it doesn't make any sense, but we're just fans. So
exactly.
Let's just settle down here. All right. Like, I mean, let's just enjoy. I can't wait for hockey to start. I'm so excited to see what Trocheck is. I want to see these kids play. Adam Sikora, this absolutely undressed somebody in the World Junior Championship.
I was gonna say you saw that goal, right? Oh my
gosh.
The pass,
unbelievable.
Oh my, that kid's gonna be good. Dude, I'm telling you right now, that's Ryan Callahan Jr. I know I use that same comparison for Ottman, but I see it more in Sikora than I do Ottman. That kid Sikora is gonna be gross, dude.
I can't wait. I can't
I'm
wait.
hyped.
I gotta watch some. I gotta try and watch some more World Junior Championship games. When's the next time Canada's playing? I gotta watch Othman play because he had a
Dude,
really good game.
I
Whatever a
think,
sponsor me, he got scratched from the lineup, and then the first game back in, a goal and 2 assists.
dude, him
Like,
and Cully
what a
were
beast.
buzzing together, dude. I think Canada plays not tomorrow, but the next day. But dude, actually talking about Rangers prospects, you know what I really want to see this year that the Rangers didn't do last year is the Traverse City Prospect Tournament. I don't know why the Rangers didn't take part in that last year. That's like my favorite thing to watch leading up to the NHL preseason was always a prospect tournament because you got to see all the Rangers prospects play in a tournament against other teams' top prospects. Like, what greater measurement of how good your prospects are by pitting them against the other top prospects on other teams? I would just love to see
Yeah,
that, dude.
and in true NHL fashion, you'd think they'd maybe televise that
It
or
would make too
something.
much sense,
Nope.
dude. Why would you want to
No, it
show
would
off
make
your
too much
ability?
sense. Yeah, yeah. Like really, let's
For,
not make this more fun. You know what I
no,
mean?
dude. If they
At
can't
least
charge
put it on.
$6 for it, they won't do it.
At least put it on ESPN Plus or something like that. Like just
Dude,
give me
yes.
something.
Well,
Give me
dude, even when
something.
the Rangers would live stream it, dude, way back when it was like Jim Cerny when he was the Rangers guy, like you get like a shake, like you're watching the Blair Witch Project, you're like just like seeing this, like recording the Rangers game. Like I'm trying to watch, like who are some old Rangers? I'm trying to watch Bobby Sanguinetti skated up the ice, and this dude's dropping his freaking phone while he's skating with the puck. You got people yelling at the, yeah, it's so bad, dude. Like,
And then
it's a
And then last year there was like a prospect game between the Rangers and the Flyers, and the Flyers had a full-on broadcast, like an actual
yeah,
score bug and everything.
yep,
And the Rangers had some dude behind the glass filming with his
yep.
phone.
Yep, just dude, like oh my god, like this is an organization that is the most, unless it changed this year, but according to Forbes, the most valuable franchise in the entire NHL, and they get freaking Jim Bob down the street with his iPhone 6 recording prospect games for the fans. Like, what are we doing here? You have an entire network. What are we doing?
And to show the score, no score bug. Let's just take a video of this. What are we in 1970?
Dude, it's so bad. Like, you have MSG, MSG2, and MSG Plus. You can't give me an hour of a prospect game. Dude, don't even
No,
get me
we have to
started.
watch. We have to watch a competitive poker.
Like,
Whatever they put on.
The MSG might be the biggest waste of a station when it's not hockey or basketball season, like in television history. It is so like I tune in TV. Oh, maybe they got Rangers Classics or something like what SNY does with the Mets. Like they do Mets Classics in the offseason. Or what's the Yankees one? Yes Network. Yankees Classic. No, they have nothing. It's like you said, poker or just something that no one cares about. No one's going to tune into. It's I don't know. Whatever. That's Dolan's prerogative, not mine.
Yeah, SNY always has something on. Like during the day, they used to. I remember they used to have like the Wheelhouse. They used to have Loudmouths and Daily News, like all that back to back leading up to the Mets pregame. And I used to watch all of that stuff when I was like 10 years old.
Dude,
First year watching them.
I think Boomer and I could be wrong. Didn't like Boomer and Carton, they would televise their radio broadcast on SNY. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive. Didn't they do that for a while too?
It was televised. I don't know if it was on SNY though. I know it was on like CBS or not CBS. I forget what channel it was. Man, yeah, I don't remember what channel it was. But
it was something or another, man. They had some radio guy. They would record the radio broadcast and throw it on the TV. But yeah, I don't know. The Rangers like are for some reason like afraid of like showcasing their team for some reason. Like if it's not on MSG, you can't see it. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
There needs to be 98.7. Like ESPN is just incredible. Like the sports radio in New York is just incredible. It blows everybody else out of the water. There's one thing that I think is missing. There needs to be an all hockey show, like for one hour. That's it,
dude. 100 it's crazy. Actually, hold on. I got one quick funny story about the freaking Rangers prospect tournament from 2 years ago. So the last time the Rangers played in the Traverse City tournament 2 years ago, just to reflect on how bad the Rangers are at showcasing their team. One of the kids on the team, I think it was Sean McBride, his parents emailed me directly. I had like 200 subscribers at the time, and I was just talking about the prospect tournaments on YouTube. The kid's dad emailed me, "Where can I go to find the game?" No one has reached out and told me anything. Me, dude, like there's 100 Twitter personalities. His son was literally contracted by the Rangers on an amateur tryout, and they couldn't tell the kid the kids' parents where they could watch their son play. This guy is emailing, not even DMing, emailing some pigeon like me who's got 200 at the time 200 subscribers on YouTube. Like, where can I watch my son play? The Rangers have been zero help to me. How insane is that, dude? $1 billion franchise, dude. $1 billion franchise, and they're deferring to me. I was like 20 years old, some 20-year-old clown with a YouTube channel. Yeah, dude. How crazy is that?
How did they find you of all? No offense, but like,
Dude,
how
I have
how
no
you
idea.
of all people?
No, my only guess is this. As far as I know, at that time, I was like the only person publishing YouTube videos about the Rangers Traverse City tournament, breaking down the games, individual player statistics, and all that stuff. And that might be the only. That's my only guess, because as far as I know, no one else was doing it. Or either that, or this dude's like, this kid's watching a Rangers game, screaming at a television with his father in the background and his mother, his dogs are barking, this, that, and the other thing. Maybe he knows something about my son that the Rangers don't. I don't know. Dude,
Yeah,
it was bizarre. Absolutely bizarre.
Wow. Yeah, that's
how crazy.
So they probably YouTubed Traverse City Rangers, and then your name came up. Okay, that makes sense. Dude, I was like, that's nuts.
Dude, it blew my freaking mind. I got an email, Glenn McBride, and the title was "Where can I watch my son play?" I thought I was getting punked. I swear to God, it's so bizarre, dude. But either way, it was pretty cool though. At the end of the day.
Yep. All right. Well, Rangers preseason starts in September. And I think we're like 2 months away officially from the season starting, which is very exciting. So
huge.
I can't wait for that. Kevin Weeks, you still need to respond. Hashtag asking for Weeks. If you made
Weeks,
it this
let's
far,
go, dude. Come on.
Yeah, come on, man.
Just kill me, dude.
Yeah, I'm running out of ideas. I don't know what to do.
You might literally have to. You might just have to find this man. You might have to like actually find him on the street at this point and just start recording. Just go for it. Yeah, and this is crazy. Like, he literally responded to you and then just ghosted you. Like, he's like the worst hookup ever.
I think he's a very busy man.
Oh, absolutely.
His inbox is probably flooded with requests from podcasts just like mine.
Right.
But I don't know, man. I think 65 days of publicly tagging you and requesting your support and like ability to come on the podcast is enough to get 10-15 minutes of your time.
Dude, that's what it's gonna be crazy. Like, how much you want to bet? Because he keeps posting social media stuff. He's with other people. Like, he's gonna like go on some podcast like Lukewarm Takes or something like that, just to be a troll.
He went on Cjeths. Recently. I was like,
dude, I know it's. He's taking shots, bro. Listen, it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen when you least expect it, at like probably like the worst possible time too. Like, he's gonna be like, "Hey, let's go, let's do this." Like, you'll be at like work or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll leave work and
oh, absolutely.
I'm the boss there.
Look at this guy. You work at the pizza joint, right?
Yeah. So like I'm like the manager there, essentially. So
keep the change. Yeah. Not a big deal. It is what it is. Whatever.
No big deal.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, but I'll have someone come in for me or whatever, and I will literally leave immediately. It doesn't matter whatever time he says. If he says 1 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, I will wake up and do it. I don't care. Man. I'll do it. Whatever time Weeks has available, I will do it. Yeah. I'm not gonna limit myself to just one specific time. But yeah, Weeks still needs to respond. We need to set something up. But anyways, Nick, thanks again for joining me. Ice Cold Takes fans, I love yous.